Welcome to this video. Today we will take a look at the ShellProcess data type in Zeno Test. ShellProcess allows you to start and control a persistent command line shell, either cmd.exe or PowerShell, directly from a test script. This is useful for automating command line tools, running scripts, or validating console output as part of an automated test. For this demonstration, we use a very small test project called ShellProcessDemo.zproj. The project contains one test suite, shell tests, one test case, basic shell interaction. No application under test is required for this example. Everything happens inside an invisible shell process. Let's take a look at the script. As with every Zeno Test script, execution starts in the main function. First, we instantiate a ShellProcess object, define variables to capture standard output and standard error, and then start a persistent shell session. This starts an invisible cmd.exe process in the background. The shell remains active and ready to receive commands until we explicitly terminate it. Before sending any commands, we configure the shell session. The working directory affects all subsequent commands. Environment variables set here are only visible inside this shell session, which makes tests reproducible and isolated. ShellProcess does not execute commands directly. Instead, commands are sent by writing to standard input. This is equivalent to typing the command into a command prompt and pressing Enter. Because the shell runs asynchronously, we briefly wait before reading the output. After the command has executed, we explicitly read the output. readStdOut returns all currently available output. If no output is available, it simply returns an empty string. We now verify the result. This confirms that the command was executed successfully. Next, we send a second command to the same shell session. Again, we read both standard output and standard error. For this example, we only expect output on StdOut. This demonstrates how multiple commands can be executed sequentially inside the same persistent shell. At this point, the shell is still running. All commands share the same working directory, the same environment, the same process state. This makes ShellProcess ideal for long-running or stateful command line workflows. At the end of the test, we terminate the shell session. A graceful termination allows the shell to shut down cleanly. If required, the shell could also be terminated immediately using kill. ShellProcess provides a simple but powerful way to work with command line tools from within Zeno Test. Thank you for watching.